Here, first of all, about tomorrow's trip, I think my assistant will give you more information for tomorrow's trip. Ready? But as you may have all found that it's cloudy today, right? This morning, the Central Weather Bureau just issued a weather warning that probably this morning you can. If you are going to read the website, you can find that the rain is moving in, from the coast to here now, because the clouds move from southwest, and so the weather may not be very stable, and I'm not sure how long it will last if we have rain. So for tomorrow's trip, I would like to strongly recommend you to bring your own umbrella, if possible, or buy one if you do not have. And also, because it's a mountainous area, even though it's not that horrible, but I would also recommend you to go with your group members, at least 4 or 5 members in one group, and you can find, you don't have to follow me, but you can find it useful to have a roadmap, on website. Maybe I can. If you Google Alisan Forest Recreation Area map, and find a map, you can find lots of maps for you to have a look. I have my own preference for walking around this area, but you don't have to follow my step. It looks quite complicated, but actually it's not. Anyway, I think the first priority for you is just to go with your group members, and at least we also have at least one of your group members' contact number, in case if you do not come back in time, on time, right? We are off from our stop 8 o'clock, and we'll be back on 3 o'clock. So just remember this time, Here I would like to also say that it's a very famous area and it's not that dangerous, but it has happened probably 10 years ago. There's a young guy from New Zealand. He's a backpacker, he came to this area, but he never came back again, Then even his father come here to search him, So just follow this man, Don't go other ways, even if you think it's safe, The other thing is about the reports that we have to submit, Our CCU students, and of course for those Japanese students working on either our group final reports or the trip reports. Let me remind you again that this is probably the most important method, especially for our CCU students, for this course mark, So the deadline is strictly implemented, for next, as you can see in our PPT, right? Different deadlines will be strictly implemented. And please do not plagiarize, because I definitely will found, Just maximum 10 pages, think about the issues, and just do not introduce, for the trip's report, just do not introduce what you have seen, Think about the issue that we mentioned in the past few days about the economic development, about the environmental protection, Just do not mention, I see the railway, I see the beautiful scenery, We all know that. I know that since I was 3 years elementary school students, So 10 pages is not that difficult because you won't have any exams. And please submit before the deadline, 10 pages. And to the email that we have mentioned before. If you forgot, you just find the fan page. Okay, there are PPTs on it. Okay, today we have our library staff to film the class, and we'll still have 5 groups for us to make a presentation about how, as the issues that we have decided. There are 5 issues today, and some of them we have talked about yesterday. I will also make some comments after each group's presentation. Okay, so now let's first welcome the groups 11 and 12. They will talk about talk about the water issue with us. Okay, thank you. Don't forget to give me your name, before making the presentation.
Okay.
皆さん、こんにちは。私たちは11グループ、12グループです。私たちは水をテーマに報告しなければなりません。
Okay, is that translation clear? Okay, my name is Liu Ting. I'm a CCU student and a major in financial law. First, we're going to introduce importance of the water resource during this short film.
Earth, our bodies are roughly 75% water. We remain mostly water for the rest of our lives. We cannot survive even a week without fresh water. There's no life without it, for ecosystems, societies, and individuals. So how much usable water is there on Earth? Most of the water on Earth is ocean, a salty 97.5% to be precise. And the remaining 2.5% is fresh water. That little sliver of liquid sustains human life on Earth. It literally holds up civilizations. 2.5% is a small proportion, to be sure, and even that is broken down into smaller parts. Surface water, water in ice caps and polar regions, and groundwater. First, surface water. All the liquid water above ground is surface water, and it is a tiny blip of an amount. 0.3% of all fresh water is surface water. It may seem counterintuitive, but it accounts for little streams all over the planet. All rivers, including the Nile, the Jordan, and the Mississippi, and lakes large to small like Victoria, the Great Lakes, and Baikal. Second, ice caps and polar regions freeze up to 70% of the planet's fresh water. This water is significant, but it isn't available for human use in a regular way. Finally, nearly 30% of all water on Earth is groundwater. As the name suggests, that's water in the ground. It can rest still and deep in huge caverns, or it can snuggle into little crevices of rock and pebble. The upshot? Thank goodness for groundwater. It's invisible to us, but it is much more plentiful than surface water. It is much more reliable and easier to obtain than frozen water. Without groundwater, our societies would be parched. So, how are we using that water? As a result of industrialization and population growth, demand for fresh water skyrocketed in the last century. Where is all that water going? First, we have to remember that fresh water is a global concern, but it is always local. Context matters. The Sahara is not Seattle. Still, some general information can help us get a handle on major trends. Who consumes the most fresh water? And what sectors consume the most fresh water? First, who? Well, the United States consumes the most water per capita of any country in the entire world, followed by parts of Europe and large industrializing nations like China. But this doesn't tell us what water is being used for. So let's look at it another way. If we ask what kinds of uses the water is going towards, we see a different picture. Agriculture accounts for roughly 70% of global freshwater consumption. Again, remember that the numbers vary by region, but still it's a staggering amount. And this makes a certain kind of sense. We need to eat, we need water to grow food. The bigger the population, the more food we need. And the wealthier we get, the more meat we eat, and the more water is required to produce our food. Furthermore, 22% 42% of all fresh water worldwide goes to industrial uses. This includes the production of electricity, the extraction of fossil fuels, and the manufacturing of all manner of goods, from microchips to paper to blimps. 70% to agriculture, 22% to industrial uses. What's left? 8%. All those domestic uses, cooking, cleaning, bathing, drinking. It's a drop in the bucket of overall water use.
Okay, the report which we're going to do is divided into two aspects. The first aspect is about wastewater, which must damage our environment and invade into the biological chain. Because all the humans are in need of water in whole life. The second aspect is about the changed circumstances because of human activities. As Taiwanese knows, the residents in the South Taiwan are bothered by the flood during or after typhoon. And what is the main cause devoted to the flood? It's overpumping. Overpumping makes land subsidence. It means the seawater can easily invade into our groundwater, which must be saltier. Another effect of land subsidence makes the area be ruined by the flood. As these two issues we mentioned, how can the humans solve these problems? There is a relevant treaty which is called United Nations Convention on the Law of Non-Navigational Convention on Uses of International Theory. It was established in 1997. The rough content of this treaty is to regulate the countries to use the riverways passing by, which are not for sailing. If we didn't protect or limit the country with treaty, the result of improper usage of the water resources must be harmful to the right of the countries which are located on rivers downstream. According to the treaty, the countries which have participated in this agreement have to obey the rules, including the precaution and the ways to minimize and control the water pollution. If there is the conflict regarding the same river which pass by different countries, there's a model of negotiation in this treaty as well. By the way, UN Convention on the Law of the Sea also mentions to make the countries to legislate for protecting the water resources and to put into practice as soon as well. Following these implements, we can solve our economic and environmental conflict better. We have to notice that the sustainable green life is as important as the economical development. Next is the actual cases that we are going to tell everyone.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Xu Xiuchan. And today I will share an edge case about discharging wastewater and its advantage and disadvantage. In 1956, there is a factory discharging wastewater without any water clean treatment in Japan, Enviromental. It made many people can work anymore, die, and serious the environment, serious the balance of environment as well. Now, most countries still have the problem, and so how did it affect our healthy and environment? Today I do the following flow chart, and maybe we can try to understand it from the flow chart. First, some factory want to pursue more profit, so they discharge the wastewater to river for cost down. And then there are lots of heavy metal in wastewater, so it makes fish become toxic and river become dirty and not clear anymore. In the end, people eat those toxic fish, and it makes people die and environment poison as well. Yes, and how long in dealing with the discharging wastewater? Most countries sign the International Environmental Convention, and And every government of country made a more detailed law to try to solve the environmental problem. And of course now there is a main environmental law in Taiwan as well. It's called Water Pollution Prevention Law, 水污染防治法. If any owner of factory or industry doesn't obey the law, and including discharging wastewater without any clean treatment, and they will face imprisonment and fine. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dawing Chen. I'm from CCU. Today I'm going to introduce the issue of groundwater and the subsidence. First, we should know what is the groundwater. As you can see, the ground we standing consists of many different kinds of rock. Between them, each of rocks have gaps, which are filled of groundwater. And next, the advantage of the groundwater. First, groundwater is fresh because it's stored into the ground and permitted through many small rocks, just like the natural water filter. And second, groundwater source can be found in everywhere. And third, the groundwater is cheap because the digging facilities of pumping groundwater and the cost are cheaper than getting water from other ways. Because groundwater has this advantage, it not only plays an important role in water cycle, but also is a crucial water source to support our society. However, overpumping of the groundwater causes land subsidence. And what is subsidence? Subsidence is the motion of a surface as it shifts downward relative to the datum such as sea level. And in this picture, we can know that without the groundwater support, the ground will go downward. And because of time, we should skip this video. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Huang Zhenzong. Now I will tell you how the environment crisis. Pumping the groundwater breaks the balance of water and rocks. It causes subsidence and making coastal cities float. Even fossil residents need to look for new home. And we should know how the law deals in this issue. Taiwan decreed the water law in 93 in 2013. If anybody pumping groundwater privately, it may be charged the highest $100,000 administrative law. But people can only pumping groundwater after government approved. Conclusion. Water is very important. All of us need to drink water to survive. Sometimes we can hear about countries have water war from the international news. Maybe lots of us can imagine people will fight for water. In our opinion, people in Taiwan and Japan can easily get water. We can even drink tap water directly in Japan. Water seems very easy to get for our life. But for some of countries, in Middle East, water is precious. Sadly, we have to admit that discharging wastewater and overpumping groundwater both have benefit to economic growth because it costs low and convenient. However, we also need to pay attention to the disadvantages of environment and try to minimize the damage. The last but not the least, don't take what you have for granted, especially water. Thank you for everyone.
Okay, thanks for our group's 11-12 presentation. I think here they mentioned the two main issues, and these issues also are also very critical for Taiwanese society, because as you see here, the first issue about water pollution, it is very often that in the news, and probably every week or every 2 or 3 weeks, we can find this kind of news. Okay, factories emit the polluted water into the river without any permission. Okay, and then, but the problem is that probably why they do also always do that. Okay, because they would like to lower their cost. Normally, there is a problem which is factories would like to earn as much as possible, so they just make their cost externally. Okay, this is what we call external cost. Okay, external cost is the cost that is the damages or the negative impacts that factories cause to the environment. Okay, who paid it? We all paid it. Okay, but the benefits, the profits go to the factory. Okay, to understand 环境外部成本. Okay, there are many different kinds of these cases in Taiwan, and the water pollution. But the problem is that we may not be aware of the fact that, okay, as we watched the TV 2 days ago, there's always a balance. Okay, each part and human behaviors will affect the natural environment, and then these negative impacts come back to us. Okay, if one day we drink the water or we eat a fish that drink the water and live in the polluted water, then what's the result? Okay, just as I mentioned yesterday, if we continue to use the facial cleaners that has the plastic particles, okay, do you know what is it? 塑胶微粒, okay. Then these plastic particles go into the sea, then fish eat these particles, and then we eat the fish. So we eat the plastic particles, okay. So all the results will come back to us, okay. But people do not aware of this because we don't see it, okay. And so that's the problem that we have. And to some extent, the law can impose penalties, but the problem, I think, the more important is that we are aware of this situation. We should try to avoid this situation before happening. Okay, from the education from the beginning. Okay, the other issue that here I would like to also mention, and yesterday, our group presentation has also mentioned it, is the groundwater issue. Okay, overpumping. Okay, I think here why the farmers, or why many, especially in central or in southern Taiwan, we can find that for those who use this groundwater, why they use it? Okay, is it just because it's cheap? To some extent, that's because they cannot get the water easily. Okay, why? Okay, for example, in Yunnan province, okay, in the northern county, not province, okay, Yunnan County, okay. And in Yunnan County, there's a very serious issue that is overpumping. That's because those who are feeding the fish, they need water. But the problem is that I think this is the largest river in Taiwan. We call Zhuoshui River. Okay, there's a river, but okay, looks like potato, and the water flows from east to west, and then, but in order to give a petrochemical factory, as we mentioned before, is probably the largest one in Yunnan, in Taiwan. Okay, Liuqing. In order to give them water, so the government supports. The government built a dam, okay, to control the flow of the water. So after that, downstream the dam, we no longer have regular water. Okay, so there are lots of problems causing. Okay, first of all, we no longer have regular sand to stabilize our coast. Do you know? So we have coast erosion. Okay, 海岸侵蚀. Okay, our coastline retreated. That's because river does not only bring water; they also bring sand to stable to the stable coast. The other problem is that farmers no longer have stable water to use. Okay, there's a law in Taiwan. It says that the priority for people to use the water, first factory, second farmers. Okay, so always if we have limited amount of water, we should give factories first and later give the farmers. So if farmers can't get enough water, what should they do? They can only use groundwater. And another problem is that groundwater may be polluted. Okay, so now this problem is not only about the law, but about the policy. Okay, how we treat agriculture and industry. Okay, how we balance these two. I think I do not have any answer, but you can think about it. What's more important, or how you balance it. Okay, this is my very brief comments about the water issue. And so now let's welcome the groups 5 and 6. We'll talk about the food issue. Okay, thank you.
Teacher, do you have a mobile controller? Mobile controller. Oh, thank you. Okay, got it. It works.
Wait a minute.
It works. No.
它好像安装，还要一点时间。
It doesn't work.
Okay, our topic is money killed the earth. We are the 5 and 6 group. This is our team members. Okay, my name is Tao Yongyi. Let's think about what's your dream. Most of people's dream is become a rich people. Why rich is so appeal to many people? Because the rich people can buy a car, buy a house, and they can have a perfect family. And they can buy anything they want to buy because they have uncountable money. And there are many ways to earn the money. You can be a chef, you can be a lawyer, you can be a business people, and so on. Today we want to especially discuss about business people, the black heart business people. What have they sacrificed to make their profit? The cost of raw material, salaries, transport fee, just this? Of course not. They also sacrifice the life of whale. You can see there are so many blood in the water. And this is wild blood. It's so cruel. And the polar bear is also feel so hot and they are so painful. And they will face extinction in the future. And human will be a refuge finally. And today we want to discuss about how profits bring disaster to the earth. We have 3 examples to share with you. The first one is whale slaughter. The second is nuclear disaster. The third is food waste. Okay, let's talk about whale and whaling.
Hello, my name is Huang Ziyun, and I'm going to introduce the whales and whaling. This is the body structure of a whale. Whales are the largest marine mammals in the world, and their nervous system is very sensitive, so just like human beings, and also their IQ are very high. Okay, it's the food pyramid of the marine ecosystem. The marine ecosystem food chain can be described as plankton eaten by fish and fish eaten by whales. As we see in this pyramid, whales are at the top of the food web in their ecosystem. So if we keep killing and capturing the whales, we may break the balance of their ecosystem. Okay, it's a picture of whale's slaughter. It's bloody and disgusting, right? Just as I say, whales are similar to human beings, no matter in rational part or emotional part. Therefore, whales might feel hurt, might be sad, might get depressed, might be suffering when their families or themselves be slaughtered. Just imagine it. If those whales are our families or even our lovers, how will we feel? I think it might be extremely painful, right? And this is a law of whaling. The International Whaling Convention, so-called IWC. The purpose of IWC is the conservation and management of whale resources and ensuring the sustainable use of whales as valuable marine resources for our future generation. It included the prohibit capturing the whales which are faced with extinction and the limited amount, limited size, limited area of capturing the whales. Okay, and let's watch a video which made by CNN and it's about Japanese whale hunt.
In the heart of one of Tokyo's glitzy restaurant districts, this is all the whale menu. Just one of the specials of the day at Taruichi restaurant. Sushi chef Matamitsu Hanawa is slicing up 13 types of whale sashimi, enjoyed by the customers packing the restaurant. This is our culture, our food, says this customer. A food resource for our island country, says this customer. They can eat it because of this, Japan's controversial whale hunt. This video, captured by Greenpeace, shows the Japanese whaling fleet launching once again to the Antarctic Ocean. This year, the plan is to bring home 900 minke and fin whales. Lethal hunt allowed under international law because Japan says the main purpose is research. Japan argues those whales are in abundant enough supply to be studied and sustainably hunted. But Japan faces global opposition led by Australia's government.
The government's objective remains bringing an end to all commercial whaling, including whaling in the name of science.
The fishermen also face conflict at sea. Environmental group Sea Shepherd repeatedly hunted the Japanese whalers last season, throwing butyric acid at the ships. These protesters briefly ended up tied up to the fishing ship after jumping aboard in protest, released later to the Australian government. Japan's government urged a motion take a back seat to calm diplomacy.
With intelligence and courage and calmness in the mind and pragmatism, so to speak, I believe we can find better soft landing conditions.
But emotions are also high back at Taruichi restaurant, who calls the whale hunt and the subsequent eating of the meat a part of Japan's culture. I think it's nonsense, says Taruichi's owner, that one country forces another country to eat or not eat certain foods. A debate of East versus West promises to face off once again soon, frigid oceans of the Antarctic. Kyanma, CNN, Tokyo.
Okay, and it is the end of whales and whaling.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you doing today? Yeah, I'm also good. I talk about one more example related to food issues. The next example is about radiation. Do you know what radiation means? And its definition is a form of energy that comes from, especially from nuclear reactions. And it's in Japanese, Hoshano. And in Taiwanese, no. In Taiwan, no. In Taiwanese,
放射能。
Okay, I'll show you some. I'm Yuki. Sorry, by UKI. I'm Yuki. And I'll show you some shocking pictures. And if you don't want to see them, you should close your eyes. Just listen. No. And what do you imagine in your mind when you hear you hear radiation? I hit on 311. Do you know the incident? And 6 years ago, on March 11th, a devastating earthquake hit on eastern Japan. Many buildings collapsed and a large number of people died. Moreover, it brought about a big tsunami. It attacked these areas and swallowed everything, like houses, cars, bridges, ships, and everything, something like that. And however, they were not all of the disaster. The worst incident happened. It is an accident at the nuclear plant. Because of this accident, radiation leaked from the plant and influenced not only human beings but also nature. After the accident, people tended to avoid eating food which was made in these areas because they were concerned that food included radiation. Therefore, its industry was heavily damaged. And even though a farmer argued their food is safety, but nobody believes that. Also, a prime minister ate food to prove its safety, but it didn't work. In short, earthquake is a nature phenomenon, but accident at the nuclear power plant is a man-made disaster. Our society has been advancing every day, every hour, every second, and of course it involves a possibility of an accident. Yuri Gagarin, who was the first astronaut, astronaut said the Earth was bluish. Bluish means blue. When he saw the Earth from space, I suggest that if we pursue a developed society, we must consider the environment for us and the next generation in the future. We must recognize we live with the Earth. Okay, let's move on to the next.
Good morning. My name is Chen Yuwei, and there's another issue that is a link between the food waste and the environmental protection that have been long been forgotten by people. And there are 4 factors that have to bear in mind before we get deeper into the issue of food waste. The first one is every year global edible food waste is estimated around 1.3 billion tons. And how much is 1.3 billion tons is a little bit, in this case, to be abstract. But if we expressing this a specific number, that is 1.3 billion tons of food can feed 870 million starving people, and that is a very astonishing number. And also, the carbon footprint and the carbon footprint and the water footprint are similar ideas. Carbon footprint means that how much greenhouse gases you have emitting to the air when you are doing a certain activity. And every year, 3.3 billion tons of carbon, of greenhouse gases have been emitted into the air when producing the food that has been wasted. And also, the water footprint, and every year, 250 cubic kilometer of the water have been used to produce the food that have been wasted. And how much is the 250 cubic kilometer? That is around 5 Geneva in Switzerland, 5 Geneva Lake combined. And also, the food produced in 28% of the world's agricultural area have been wasted. That is, we have used 28% of the world's agricultural area to produce the food that is wasted. And this is an example of the water footprint. Obviously, raising the cattle requires the most water because people really want to eat beef. And how does the footprint have contributed to the environmental issue? That is, the key point is the methane. The methane have been released from the food during the process of food, the rotting food. And because the microorganisms will break the elements of the food, and some chemical substances will be released into the air, including the methane. And the methane is one of the greenhouse gases, so it contributes to the global warming. And just like I had said, the methane is one of the greenhouse gases, and it's 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. It means it is 25 times more stronger on the impact of the global warming than carbon dioxide. And as can be seen from this graph, from 1984 to 2016, the amount of the methane released into the air have been rising. And at present, the methane's contribution to the global warming account for around 28%. And of course, carbon dioxide's contribution to the global warming account for the most. But if we keep wasting our food, there will be more methane released into the air, and the global warming will become a more and more serious problem and contribute to a devastating consequence.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Li Peiluan, and I'm going to discuss about how to solve this problem. And because this issue become more and more important, so we have to come up with some solution to solve. And there are the following are 3 examples from 3 countries that they adopt different ways to solve this problem. And the first one is in the United States. In 2008, the University of Wyoming started a campaign called No Trade. And in this picture on the left hand, a tray can put 3 plates on it. So we might take more food than we can eat in a ride. But if we only have 1 plate, we can take a suitable amount of food in one time. And the second example is from the United Kingdom. And it is a program called Waste and Resources Action Program. It is working together for a world without waste, and it advocates people to love food and hate waste. Germany is thought to be the strictest country when it comes to the ban on food waste. And if you waste some food there, you will be fined. And there is a story happened on a Chinese people. One day he went to a restaurant, but he left some food that he had taken, so he was fined 50 mark. and there is a woman next to him. She said that eat what you need because the money is yours, but the resources belong to the society. There are still lots of places lack of food, so you can't and you don't have any reason to waste it. So in this case, we can know that how strict Germany do on decreasing the food waste. And in addition, we could try our best to solve this problem. When we go to the supermarket, we can't pick food just because of its appearance. Also, we can eat less meat and more vegetables and fruits. So with the negative impact that we've mentioned above, we have to make our choice more carefully now. Not only should we take food, but also take environmental protection into consideration. In light of it, we can get more benefit for us and also for the future. And this is our reference, and thank you for your listening.
Okay, let's have